you're showing to me right now actually is the source of all other incarnations. And then in the today's verse, this verse is trying to clarify different levels of realization of the absolute truth and then superiority of the personal form of the Lord. So in the second chapter of the first canto, the learned personalities, they say that, how do we go there? Yeah. So learned transcendentalists, they say that the absolute truth or this non-dual substance, Advaya, is known as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Brahma is going to clarify these positions in this verse. And this verse goes as follows. Nata param parama yad bhavata swarupam आनन्दमात्रम् अविकल्पम् अविद्यवर्चः पश्यामि विश्वसृजमेकम् अविश्वमात्मा भूतेन्द्रियात्मकमतस्थ उपाश्रितोऽस्मि नाता, but to not, ata param, hereafter, param or supreme, yad bhavata swarupam, that which bhavata of your lordship, swarupam, eternal form, Ananda Matram, impersonal Brahman effulgence, Avikalpam, without change, Avidya Varchaha, without deterioration of potency. Pasyami, do I see? Visvashrujam, creator of the cosmic manifestation, Ekam, one without a second, Avisvam, and yet not of matter, Atman, most supreme cause, Bhuta, body, Indriya, senses, Atmaka, on such identification, Mada, pride, say unto you, Upashitaha, surrendered, Asmi, I am. So basically, Lord Brahma is saying, oh my dear Lord, Natha param, paramayat bhavata swarupam. I do not see a superior form. Param, there exists, Atha param exists, Parama, yad bhavata swarupam. There is no other superior form. Even your Ananda Matram is nothing but the Brahman effulgence. And it is also, the meaning is full of Ananda. So, it's not working. One second. Ananda Matram, full of happiness, is Brahmananda, which is the Brahman effulgence. And Brahman effulgence is also characteristics. The characteristics are avikalpam, there is no change, there is no kalpas, and aviddhavachaka, it doesn't have any deterioration in the potency. And then he says, so basically, first two lines, Brahma is telling, your form is superior to the Brahman effulgence. And Prabhupada nicely explains that Brahman realization, like the three realizations mentioned in the first chapter, second canto, right? Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So the Brahman realization does not include Bhagavan realization, but whereas Bhagavan realization includes Brahman realization. So that's how Lord Brahma is proving the superiority of the personal form of the Lord. And now he is telling, Pashyami, I am not seeing Vishwashrujam Ekam Aviswam Atman. This Vishwam, the creator, you are the one, and then you are separated from it. But whereas me, Bhutendriyatmaka, I'm just this embodied person looking for the satisfaction of my bhuta, body, indriya, senses, and atmaka, identified with it, not only identified, I'm filled with pride. So I surrender to you. Deva Vaskritos. So the verse again. Nata param paramayad bhavata swarupam. Nata param paramayad bhavata swarupam. Ananda matram avikalpam aviddavarchaha. Ananda matram avikalpam aviddavarchaha. Pashyami visvasujamekam aviswamatman. Pashyami vishvasujamekam aviswamatman. Bhutendriyatmakam adastu upashitosmi. Bhutendriyatmakam adastu upashitosmi. Translation: O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. Actually, since we are already at 6:15, I want to go, I want to finish it quick. So I want to go a little bit background. So here we're talking about Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is this four-headed Brahma. Okay. And then what he is doing is, so this is the picture of the spiritual world. I mean, whole creation, not the spiritual world. So the upper part is the spiritual world, and the down part is the material world. Material world annotations. Okay. So, so yeah. So here, Lord Brahma, Lord Karanadaksha Vishnu, he is lying outside the spiritual world in the river called, in the ocean called Karna Ocean. From him, like a lot of universes come. And then for the universe to stay afloat, he expands into another Vishnu, that is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. From his navel, you see, there is a, yeah, you can see. So there is a little line here. So from his navel comes a lotus flower. On the top of the lotus flower is Lord Brahma. So yesterday, Sunarila Mata explained the story of this. Basically, there is actually a confusion in the last chapter whether this annihilation is every day of Brahma or at the birth of Brahma, because the verse says the birth of Brahma. So the clarification for that is, it is not static. Sometimes it is creation, sometimes it's the birth. Like, sometimes it's the daily affair of Lord Brahma. Basically, the section says he got up, Brahma gets up, and he sees himself in the dark space. And then there's a light coming from his lotus. And then he tries to figure out by his own endeavors, where this lotus is going on, what is the source of it. And by the time he realizes that his lifespan is he is losing out time, then he comes back and then starts the tapasya. So when he does the tapasya, then he sees the Lord in Garbhodaksha Vishnu. I also want to show this another image. So yeah, which says his situation. So his situation is, so here is a story. So there is this Mahavishnu, and then number of universes are coming out, and then Mahavishnu expands into Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then there comes the lotus, and the top of the lotus, Lord Brahma takes birth. And he tries to follow the path of the lotus and tries to figure out, but he finds that he is running out of time, and he comes back to the top of the lotus and then starts meditating. And when he does the meditation, so he sees the Lord here. He's actually having a darshan of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu. It is such a nice darshan he was having. And we went through it already in the 8th chapter. And then there's a Garbhodaksha devastating waters are also there. Okay. To be choppies. I am continuing reading the purport. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear me, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Now we can.
Okay. So I will not share my screen. I will just continue reading the translation and purport.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
my
Prabhu.
Lord, I do not see a superior form to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence, in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no wonder unto you, because whereas your Lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you're untouched by matter. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 1855, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can only be partially known, and only by the process of devotion service to the Lord. Lord Brahma became aware that the Supreme Lord Krishna has many, many eternal blissful forms of knowledge. he has described such expansions of the Supreme Lord Govinda in his Brahma Samhita as follows. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is non-dual and infallible. He is the original cause of all causes. Even though he expands in many, many forms. Although he is the oldest personality, he is ever youthful, unaffected by old age. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be known by the academic wisdom of the Vedas. One has to approach the devotee of the Lord to understand him. Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhaktam. So the only way to understand the Lord as he is by devotional service to the Lord or by approaching the devotee of the Lord, who always has the Lord in his heart. By devotional perfection, one can understand that the impersonal Brahmajyoti is only a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, and that the three Purusha expansions in the material creation are his plenary portions. In the spiritual sky of the Brahmajyoti, there is no change of various kalpas or millenniums. And there are no creative activities in the Vaikuntha worlds. The influence of time is conspicuous by its absence. The rays of the transcendental body of the Lord, the unlimited Brahmajyoti, are undeterred by the influence of material energy. In the material world also, the initial creator is the Lord himself. He brings about the creation of Brahma, who becomes the subsequent creator empowered by the Lord. So that's the purport. So the verse again. Nata param parama yadbhavata swarupa. Oh my Lord. And again, going back to lotus flower where Lord Brahma is sitting on. And then there is this devastating airs that are trying to evaporate the waters. And then there's a sky and the Lord. That's all the situation it is. And then he's having such a beautiful darshan of the Lord in gigantic Garbhodakshay Vishnu, where his ornaments are like mountains, they're so big. Imagine the form of the Lord, how big it is. And then seeing the Lord, that too after trying to find it out himself, after researching himself, and failing. And then he comes to the meditation. Now he's seeing the Lord, like Lord Brahma feels really relieved. And then he is glorified. Finally, I have come to see you after so long. And then this form is the source of all incarnations. And that now he is telling, your form, this form you are showing, actually is way superior. The way it is superior is there's Brahma Jyoti, Ananda Matram, which is full of bliss. And then that doesn't have avikalpam, there is no kalpas. And then there is no deterioration in the potency. And that is actually is subservient to you. And then Prabhupada is explaining in the first part of the purport, if you want to know about the Lord, you can only know him partially, not even fully. And that too, that knowledge can happen only by the process of devotion service. Quoting 1855. Bhaktya mama bhajanati yavanyascha smitatvatah. And then he quotes that Lord Brahma is already aware of many, many incarnations. Advaita Machyuta Manadi Rupa Manadi Purush Adyam Purusham Purana Purusham Navayavanam and so on. And there also Lord Brahma himself telling in the Brahma Samhita, Vedeshu Durlamam, you can study on your own way. We are not going to find him. But he can be easily found when one approaches Atma Bhakta. And Prabhupada nicely explains, says that, devotee, Atma Bhakta means devotee of the Lord who always has the Lord in his heart. That's the easiest way. And I also want to appreciate Prabhupada is giving away the access to knowledge of the Lord by devotion service also. So he says, the only way to understand the Lord as he is by devotion service or by approaching the devotee of the Lord. So, with devotion service without the bhakta, I don't know how it works, but still on the name of Prabhupada's recommendation, Lord is now going to be known by this is process of devotion service. Also by offering it in a loving way. So when one gets the knowledge of the Lord, that includes the knowledge, that impersonal Brahma Jyoti, which is like, way aspired by all the transcendentalists, which is Brahmananda, the Ananda of this impersonal realization is so great. And this Brahma Jyoti situation is also free from any changes. There is no kalpas, there is no deterioration of potency and so on. So by the knowledge of the Lord through this process of bhakti or by approaching the bhakta, we get to know that actually Bhagavan realization Bhagavan includes all of this impersonal Brahman realization also, any other realizations actually. And other way, the Brahman realizations or any other realization in this world doesn't include the Bhagavan realization or the personal form of the Lord. And another nice factor of this impersonal Brahma Jyoti is also that the influence of time is also not there. It's basically there and not there. That's an interesting way. It is conspicuous by its absence. So that means the influence of the time is also not there in the Vaikuntha Loka or in the Bhagavan realization also. So that's a specialty. So conspicuous by the absence means time is there, but the effects are not there. We have effects of the time in this world. There is Ayur Harti Vaipamsam, Ashtan, Sanasa. When the sun is coming up and down, our duration of life is getting reduced and so on. So that is not there. There is no deterioration. Time cannot do anything. But the seasons and all those things are there. And so now the Lord is asking, okay, you're telling, you're only seeing the one creator of the world. So you're also the creator. So, are you going to hang out with the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or myself? Then Lord Brahma is telling, yes, that is true. I'm also the creator. But the problem is, I'm thinking I'm the creator and I'm this embodiment. I'm in this unfortunate situation. Actually, in the first verse, Lord Brahma says, it's offensive situation that one identifies oneself with the body, mind, and senses. So basically, he tells, I'm in this offensive situation. May I take shelter of your lordship? You are the one enabling me to create. You are the one first creator. I'm only secondary creator. I'm only empowered subsequent creator after you. So that's how the Lord Brahma is glorifying the Lord. Telling the verse again. Natha param parama yad bhavata swarupa ananda matram avikalpam avitavarcha pashyami visvasujam ekam avishwam asman bhutendriyatmaka madastu upasrito asmi. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of my material body and senses, your lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter. So the application part for us is, I mean, this application part goes the whole chapter, like how from Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj explains this as everybody has duties to do. We get up, cook or clean or work and so on. So before approaching the duties and trying to do it ourselves, and thus, and thus, uh, and thus, we also lose our time and energy, and then there is no success. But take up the path of bhakti. Path of bhakti is pretty simple and easy. Just needs to. Lord Brahma only took the 100 human years to meditate on the Lord. So it is very, very small. So similarly, we can also meditate on the Lord, get the clarity from Him and approach our, cooking service or cleaning service or working service. Then our endeavors will be fully successful. So that's a part of application. And the other part of application also we have been seeing from the second canto. Every stage, every subsequent stage, there's a need of Lord's blessings. First Lord glances on the Pradhan, and then Pradhan will get into Mahatattva, and then Mahatattva transforms into the three modes, and then further creation, but still things are stuck. And then personified elements start offering prayers to the Lord, and then that's when, with the Lord's empowerment, they keep moving. And then there is now with the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then Lord Brahma. The Lord Brahma situation is, of course, at the time of birth, but it also happens during the day of Brahma. Like in the previous day is done, and he goes to sleep, and this is the next day. So, in every situation, Lord Shakti is needed, and Lord Brahma himself is so small. So, what to speak of our, very, very insignificant soul Shakti. There is no Shakti. So that's the application. And the sweetness of the Lord. Though we are very small, by the mercy of the Lord, we can get to the perfection in our endeavors and fulfill our desire to try to do something on our own. That's it, Matajis and Prabhujis. I thought the internet will work fine, but there were still multiple issues as usual. Having issues in my life. Excuse me for those issues. Yeah. Would you like to anyone would like to say something or can say something? Just a small reflection.
Very nice class, Prabhu.
especially the application parts.
Mm.
The more we hear, the more we feel insignificant, insignificanter and insignificanter, more and more.
Mm. Actually, nice verses coming up on the hearing. 2 verses. It will come in the 5th, and then I think the next one is 11th. The process of hearing. Not only, I mean, maybe it's a part of the sub part of the thing, self-realization. We feel insignificant, but how it opens up the unlimited blessings of the Lord. Actually, 11th verse says, by this process, whose heart is affected by this process of hearing, actually can see, not can see, actually the Lord comes and takes seat on the lotus of the heart. And then the specific mention is that he manifests a particular form and each devotee aspires for. Small appreciation about hearing, bro, because you brought about the point of hearing. Wow.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, Prabhu. That's it, Prabhu, there.
Yeah, anyone else wants to say anything before we close the call? Okay, I think
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
close the class today, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.